Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to leverage Power Automate to create activities for child contacts of accounts in our trial environment. I know we don't have a lot of accounts, but I think we do have a couple of contacts, so let's go ahead and create a new Power Automate. It'll be instant so that we can just call it whenever we want, and we'll skip this after I select that. Okay, great. So we'll call this create activities for child contacts accounts. So then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a list rows. I'm going to say, all right, list the accounts in the DB account. Let's do that. And then the next thing we do is I'm going to create an apply to each. Then I'm going to say for each account, list the associated contact. All right. So right here, what we have to do is pass the value, which is the array of accounts. And then right here, what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and list rows again. List the associated contacts for this account. So we're inside this for each, right? Now here we have to do something special. We have to filter. So contacts have a parameter called parent customer ID. So the way you do this in OData expression is underscore parent customer ID underscore value is equal to, and then we pass a GUID. So what would we pass? Naturally, we pass the current account GUID from the list. So list the accounts in the DB that we just did. We're going to pass that GUID. And then this should give us a result of one contact, two contacts, five contacts, 12 contacts. Doesn't matter. All right, great. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and apply to each. For each contact, create a phone call activity. And we're going to pass the value in this case of the contacts. So see, list the associated contacts for his account. This is why I named them, because it makes it so much easier for me to know where I'm retrieving my metadata. All right, cool. So next thing I'm going to do here is inside this for each, I'm going to add a new row. Let's add a new row. And we're going to say create phone call activity. So let's just scroll through here and find phone calls. Okay. Now we got to be careful here. So the subject will make it dynamic. Phone call activity for, and then right here we'll pop in the account name and contact. We want the full name. Beautiful. All right. Okay. So that looks good there, and then we could if we wanted to, we could provide a description. But for now, I think this is good. Um, let's go ahead and set the due date to the created on of the associated account or contacts. We'll set the duration to 30 minutes. And then right here, very important, the syntax, it's contacts for the table in plural. There's a reason for that. be careful with this because this can be a problematic thing if you don't deal with it. And we're going to say we want that contact unique identifier, right? So the contact, pass that in. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to save because we've already done so much stuff. If we would set the direction to yes, it should be outgoing. So we're going to save that. Now, activity party attribute, we're going to have to do a little bit of quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hard code myself in here as the from. So I'm going to go to users. I'm going to say Alex. Okay, great. So let's open up my user and I'm going to grab my record ID. So what's my record ID? Oh, I don't know. I'll just use level up. Okay, cool. So this is a call from. And then here I have to say system users table, right? And then pass in my GUID. And there you go. So it's going to be from me to call to, and then the contacts. So contacts, and then contact. I'm going to save this. Now, before we run this and see if it actually does what it's supposed to do, we're going to we're going to go ahead and get out of here for a second. Let's go back in. Create activities for child contacts accounts. Okay, hasn't run before. One of the things that Microsoft on the Power Automate side happens to do is sometimes you'll provide dynamic content, but it won't remember that you actually did it. So I just want to make sure that I actually fed it the information it needs. So you can see I have this here that looks good. Let's see. This looks good. This looks good. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Okay. So let's go ahead and test this out. So we're going to manually run this job. What it should do is it should run through all the accounts in the database, retrieve the related contacts, which is a complex, I'll call it a complex operation. Not necessarily, right? It's pretty easy, but from a Power Automate perspective, maybe it is. And if we find any errors, we'll fix them. But the goal is, are we creating phone call activities for each one of these contacts? And it looks like we created a bunch of phone call activities. I don't know. Let's find out. Yep. You can see I created a bunch of phone call activities just now at 12:39. So we'll just go to one of these contacts, open them up. Notice how this one right here belongs to Trey Research. And here's a phone call activity for Trey Research. Alex Baker is the actual contact. And if you open up the activity, you can see the call is from my system user to Alex Baker. I could have mapped in the phone number if I wanted to. I could have added a description if I wanted to. The due date is literally the created on date of that contact. That's perfectly fine. But here's the concept. I hope this is helpful to somebody out there in the Microsoft community. Thank you.